From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, we go over the incredible great news as a recon deal will be done. The vice president tells the American people that the recon is happening, and the latest details is it will be. We could have a vote within days. Then, a new poll says Americans don't know what is in the recon and what is not in the recon. Why did this happen? I have the latest details tonight. Then, the meat and potatoes as The Price is Right, 1.7 to 2 trillion. Where will that recon come in at, and what will its price tag be? Then, as we look forward, we look at what provisions made it to the weekend and which ones didn't, which ones got removed, and which ones are getting reduced. I have the latest details in tonight's recording. Then, the big exciting details as more student loan debt could be forgiven in just days. This could be you, and then, of course, the excitement of this stimulus just around the corner. And as we go into a big evening, we look forward to tomorrow as this channel turns 1.5 years old. Tomorrow, those latest details and what we've learned as a family and a community. It's a big evening. I'm here, you're here. We got a pumpkin with some legs. We got a leaf balloon. We got everything. And we got the incredible details of your recon happening. Absolutely happening. Going to a vote within days. What got in there, what didn't get in there. Situation's very fluid by the minute. This is the latest update and the final update for tonight. It's all brand new, and it's Evenings LALATE. And hope your week has been good as well. Well, we will have a recon, and the recon is happening. The developing details tonight. I have the latest breakdown in this recording. Told you, Americans don't know about the recon. You do. What went wrong? Democrats address the situation in tonight's recording. The Price is Right. Where will the recon land? 1.7 to 2 trillion. But what programs are in and what programs are out? I'll tell you which are in as of tonight. The situation is very fluid and everyone's battling to keep their programs alive. One legislator got a big win tonight. And then we turn to the exciting details of more student loan debt being forgiven. Whose debts? And of course, the COLA raises. Wow, this is big. As you're going to get a raise, but we're not done there yet. Fifth stimulus is right around the corner. And as we go into a big evening, we celebrate the 1.5 year anniversary of this channel tomorrow. What have we learned about ourselves, our community, and the availability of leaf balloons? There's a leaf balloon in the set. Yeah, there's just no birthday balloons. We learn a lot, and it all starts right here. And this is Allies. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, because where else will you see legs on a pumpkin in a set? And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, and Pumpkin Leg Person. There we go. Let's go right into this incredible recon. This recon will be devised of programs, and those programs will pay you upwards of $15,000 as soon as it becomes law. And as soon as it becomes law, I'm going to show you how, as a viewer of this channel, how to get the money under these programs. The press secretary to the president of the American people addressed this program initiative in this recon, saying we are redefining the situation with incredible programs across the board, paying viewers a lot of money. So this is going to be totally new. This is not going to be stuff you've known, not stuff you've heard about before. Totally brand new, and guess who's going to guide you through this channel. Let's go over how you're going to get upwards of $15,000. 3 clusters of checks passed in a subcommittee several weeks ago. Several of those checks now removed. Several of those checks reduced, and then 3 add-ons being proposed on top of that. Here's the rundown tonight. Hazard pay still in there, and $4,000 of elder care. Let's go over all the incredible details. Broaden the earned income tax credit and increasing the amount of money for those essential workers. Up to $4,000 a year as well for elder care, up to $4,000 a year for young children's care. Then they got money in there for college students, grants to the university, and grants to the college as well. Pell's grant made tax-free. They got money in there for your home repairs. Great. It's still in there as of tonight. This is home repairs if you live in a low-income community. But the CTC, the child tax credit, really getting a cut. No longer 18 years, no longer 5 years, no longer 4 years. It's going to be 1 year, $3,600 or $3,000 per child. Then they got money in there for bikes, cars, trucks, electric vehicles all across the board. It's huge. 15% for the purchase of a new electric bike, $7,500 for a new electric vehicle, personal use, a little bit more if it's for business use. And that brings us to our first add-on, the $25,000 from Maxine Waters for first-time home buyers. Any status update? No update about this add-on. Do I think it's going to happen at $25,000? I don't. I think it's too pricey a price tag. But great news for Maxine Waters, because one of her provisions that she fought to keep in the recon that was passed, it had been removed. It had been watered down. It's going back in there. It's housing. It's for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. It's third stimulus, continuing again under fourth stimulus. Wow. This would be into maybe middle or late 2022. How much money is it? Maxine Waters had proposed $200 billion compared to third stimulus, which was only $47 billion. It was out as of 2 days ago. Then it went back in at $100 billion. Now it's staying in at somewhere between $100 to $150 billion. Big win for Maxine Waters and big win for you if you're a renter or a homeowner. Here we go. Cluster number 2, big details for home repairs and paid leave. Let's go over the details of this and see which one's in, which one's out. Well-paid family and medical leave, Nancy Pelosi's provision, childcare programs, household tax credits, pre-kindergarten, tuition-free community college, and then money for weatherizing your home. Which of those provisions have weatherized themselves during the negotiations? Well, the weatherizing provision appears to have weatherized itself. It has survived. That is big if you live in a low-income, for any type of community. Free money to weatherize your home. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House and keep them out of the Senate. There we go. One of the battlegrounds in this second cluster is the paid family leave, the Nancy Pelosi provision. Very expensive, $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. Staying in there, but we don't know to what extent. Then the tuition-free community college, it was out, then it was back in, now it's back in. Jalopal said it was out, then Pelosi said no, it's back in. Now new reports say it's 2 years or less. Up to 2 years of free community college. Good news with that. Which brings us to the second add-on from Bob Casey. That is the 61-year-old Democrat from Pennsylvania. He's proposed $250 billion going for home health care. And that provision is really well needed. It's for home health care for seniors and people on disability. But at $250 billion, that would be 1/8 of the price tag of the recon. Is it going to happen? Absolutely not at that price tag. So has it been reduced? Where is it going? No update about it whatsoever. But the third cluster is the cluster messy cluster. The cluster mess of clusters. This is where things are coming out. Things are getting hacked to death and things are getting really reduced. Let's go over the third cluster. Are you ready? Here we go. Get that pen and paper ready. We got money in there for seniors and free internet. What are the items? Free school meals for all, checks. Cheaper prescription medication. Checks for farmers. Checks for free internet. Checks for clean energy. Checks for workers and checks for Medicare, like dental, vision, and hearing care. Well, what is the fate of those items in that third cluster? Some of these items in this third cluster are coming up later in this video, so stay with me because I'm going to go more in detail. But the dental, vision, and hearing, still a number one battleground for the provisions of the recon. Number 2, the cheaper prescription medication, either out or reformed or modified the language. I think it's in there, but the language has been modified because that was the Sinema provision, and it may either be modified or out. Then the provision for free internet still in there. The provision for clean energy, the Joe Manchin, the anti-Joe Manchin provision, out over a week ago, staying out. Thank goodness. That is the provision that helps get the recon done when it's out. Then brings us to our third add-on, which of course is those MSCs, monthly IRS stimulus checks. Democrats have said that they're going to add it in to whatever becomes a bill. This is huge. Remember that we have a lot of steps still to do. They're trying to get a verbal agreement on the recon by the end of this weekend. But the verbal agreement is not with everyone. It's not like they're asking every senator and House member, do you like it? They are asking really about 4 people. Kristen Sinema, Joe Manchin, Nancy Pelosi, Bernie Sanders, and the president, and that is about it. They're bringing in Bernie Sanders sporadically, and they're bringing in Jalopal sporadically, but that is about it. So that is the upper echelon. There's a negotiating the agreement. That is not everyone. So why is that important? Because then they're going to get it to a bill, have it ready for a vote, potentially by the end of this coming week for the House side. And at that time, the House members who have not been asked whether they like a provision or want to add a provision will step forward and say yes or no. And we have been told by Omar's office this week, she will step forward and say, I'm inserting a monthly IRS stimulus check provision. We have been told by Chuck Schumer's office, not once, but 3 times in the last 3 weeks, Debbie Applegate, Donnie's wife, and another viewer, that he's inserting on the Senate side. We have different opportunities across the board. First, on the House side, you're going to see a House bill. You will see a House bill within a matter of few days. It may not be in the House bill. No need, a cause of concern whatsoever, because the legislators on the House side have all said they would add it to the House bill by amendment before we have the House vote. That's the first side. Then if the House members don't come through, then on the Senate side, you have the senators who are a whole different ball wax. Under third stimulus, those senators have done big things that the House members didn't even talk about. One of them is the tax-free nature of student loan debt forgiveness. If your student loan debt is forgiven by any of the things detailed later in this video, $40,000, for example, did you know you have to pay $25,000 of taxes normally? Yeah, that was the existing law up until the vote-a-rama on the Senate side under third stimulus. Liz Warren and Chuck Schumer knew that student loan debts were going to be forgiven and also knew you weren't going to be able to forward $25,000 checks to IRS after your debt were forgiven. So they, during the vote-a-rama, inserted that provision to protect you. That is why the vote-a-rama is very critical. It's the final 2 days in the Senate in which senators like Schumer, Casey, Coons, Warren, and Sanders can insert that monthly stimulus check provision, which brings us to the message from the number one legislator for this recon on the House, on the Senate side. His chief of staff says, you need to advocate until we're over the finish line. Let's read this message together. The message says they have, in total, between the congressional Senate offices, received more contacts of advocacy from the LALATE than the number of signatures of the American petition. Now they have a better understanding of what Americans are going through the pandemic due to the outpouring of touching stories from the LALATE viewers. They have heartbreaking stories, and they have the voice of the people across the nation. In you, LA, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Very, very kind. Let's read the last sentence on camera together and see what it says. It's about you and me and advocacy. Please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy. As the professional voice of the people, you have become LA until this becomes law. Very, very kind and very, very important. It's a weekend, but have you called today and left a voice message advocating for inclusion of something? You can. And you should, because guess what? You need to advocate before we have a House bill, after we have a House bill, before we have a House vote, after we have a House vote, before we have a Senate vote-a-rama, and while we have a Senate vote-a-rama. And those details and more coming up later in this video, but the big exciting details is a deal's happening. The Vice President of the United States addresses the American people and says the deal's absolutely happening. When would we see it happen? I have the latest details tonight, coming up after the commercial break. Then The Price is Right, 1.7 to 2 trillion. What does it mean for you? I'll go over how many years of these programs you will have payments for based upon the price tag. Then programs in, programs out, which ones are in tonight, which ones are out as of tonight, and which programs are still a battleground going into the final hours of the negotiations. Student loan debt, more debt could be forgiven, and it could be upwards of $10,000 on the latest. And then guess what? You know your COLA benefits have come in and that your benefits are going up. But get ready for this stimulus, because one legislator is ready to do it for you as well. And as we go into the second half of this video, we celebrate the first year and a half of this channel, what it's told us about ourselves and our family and our community, all those details and more. Stay with me as we go into this and those incredible breaking news as Evenings Highlight continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA, direct from Santa Monica, as a deal's happening and the vote is looming. All the latest breaking details. The price is right, 1.7 to 2 trillion. Where are we going to land and how many years of programs will be paying you out the door? Which programs are in and which programs are out? I'll go over the latest breakdown and you're going to be shocked. And there's a lot of twists and turns. Student loan debt, more debt could be forgiven. Whose debt is being forgiven and who's not? And why are the Democrats not taking a big offer? Then this stimulus heating up, and it is right around the corner as more money could be coming to you in just a few months as this stimulus heats up in the next few weeks. Those details and more as we go into a big evening show. The excitement is starting right here. I'm very excited for you across the board as Evenings LA heats up. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Evenings Countdown at 6 o'clock. Then we got Street and Stimulus at 7, Sirloin at 8, and then we got shows at 9, 10, 11, and 11:30. All about for stimulus. We return tomorrow morning at 3 and 3:30 a.m. and then 4 a.m. with Early Mornings LA. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. The link is in the video. Let's go over the incredible details of what's formulating as we go into the evening. The President of the United States and even the Vice President saying the deal is going to be done. The Vice President addressing the American people, and her words are that the President is going to get it done. On a visit to New York City, VP Harris said that I am confident, frankly, not only I am confident, frankly, and not only optimistic, but I'm also confident that we will reach a deal. The president has rolled up his sleeve and is in deep details of spreadsheets and numbers, says Press Secretary Jen Psaki. Well, you know, that's a fascinating choice of words. It's basically saying we've agreed upon the principles. We're running the numbers now. Very, very interesting choice of words. I want you to listen to this next sentence because this is going to be a very common theme on this channel over the next few months. Progress is here with a historic package that'll put in place systems and programs that have never existed in our society before, said the press secretary. This is huge. Why is this big? Because while we've talked about these programs, we've talked about these clusters over the last few weeks and months, it's different when they actually are become law. And when they become a law, it takes an effort to learn what they are, to learn how they are. I'm going to deliver that all quickly, easily, and promptly on camera so you can pounce as a purple hawk and get this money across the board. These are not going to be programs that have been around before. These are totally new programs. So it's going to be you versus everyone else that doesn't know about them. I'm going to go over that in a second. But let's go over what is happening right now. Millions of Americans have no idea this recon exists. And this has been a big issue for the Democrats. The Democrats say they can change that by the end of this entire process. Can they? Representative Dick Durbin said that we have undersold the performance and people just don't know this recon exists. What's going on? A new CBS poll says 90% of Americans don't even know the recon exists, and the remaining 10% can't tell you what's in there. And Dick Durbin says, I am not surprised by that. He said, I think it's our fault, and I think we have underperformed too long. Now it's our chance to close the way right away. Do I think they are going to? No, I don't think they are. I do think that you already feel the differences here. I've been telling you the clusters. I've been telling you the items. But when it becomes a program, it's totally something brand new. It's not a thing that's existed before. And you may have never heard of it. You will never have heard of these programs until I say, this is the program. The name of the program is this. This is how much money the program is going to get you. And this is how you get the money from the program. And it's going to be a totally type of new beast. And it's going to really separate you from everyone else. This is where information is king, and this is where you're going to win. So let's go back over to what's going on right now. A deal is going to be happening. What's at issue here is that the coverage on this channel is stemming from off the record sources close to the negotiations of print media and myself. It's not the press secretary coming out and say the rent aid is out. It's not the president coming out and saying the money for family leave is in. We don't have that type of circle of information. What we do is have off the record comments. And so if the source is not available for that off the record, the comments, we don't have it. And so as of this evening, you may think that maybe they're not in town, maybe they're not negotiating. Hard to say because we don't have a lot of sourcing on this evening that is dramatically different than, let's say, 9 a.m. this morning. But we do have some details across the board. Let's go over where that price is right, and it's 1.7 to 2 trillion. What are we looking at here? Well, the president wants 2 trillion. The moderate Democrats said 1.7, but the moderate Democrats said they'll go to 1.9. I think it will go to 1.9. How many years and what are we looking at and what's going on? This price tag is sort of the president's fault. Why? The president had gone into this recon at the very early on asking for $7 trillion, which would have been 20-year programs. He wanted lifetime programs. Did not happen. So they gave him 3.5 trillion in 10-year programs. That was an overshoot because shortly after that, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin said, I'm not doing 3.5 trillion. Do something in the 2 trillion. He did not wake up. And they kept on saying it, and he did not wake up. Now he's doing 2 trillion. And how does that bring us down to? 5-year programs. We want big, quick checks for this year, the year after that, and the year after that. You're not going to see at 1.7 to 2 trillion every program at the same number of years. Some programs may be at 1 year, some programs may be at 6 years, but they average out at about 5-year programs. Pelosi said that the situation was the following: that 90% of everything in the recon has been agreed to and written. Do I believe that's accurate? I think it's about accurate and maybe a little bit of puffery. Remember, they got to get this to a vote in just a few days if that is the status. So it's not like they haven't written this stuff. They wrote this stuff in the House subcommittee several weeks ago. They're modifying something they already written. So it's not like they're starting to write right now. Who I think is embellishing? Richard Neal, the House Ways and Means subcommittee leader, who says we've agreed upon the policy. Now we're only doing the revenue. Meaning he's saying that we've agreed upon all the provisions and the programs. Absolutely untrue. I just don't think that's accurate. Nancy Pelosi's comment contradicts Richard Neal. He says the ninth inning. So what are they doing on this revenue side? What were they negotiating on? The president, during a town hall meeting on Thursday night on CNN, which no one watched, they were watching me, he said to the American people that Kristen Sinema said no raising of corporate tax rate and no raising of taxes on billionaires. Now, again, this comes from stubbornness somewhere in the White House. Kristen Sinema has been saying this for months. And had that person in the White House not been so stubborn, whoever it was in the administration, they would have heard that message then and made the pivot then. They only made the pivot last week after being told this for several months. Why be so stubborn for several months? Should have pivoted back when. So what are they doing? They're finding other ways to pay for it, and they have found them, which is international and domestic corporate loopholes, closing them across the board, and tax enforcement. And those are all items Sinema has approved, and she approved early on. It just causes you a little bit of a question mark why people who are so stubborn over these last months in the administration did just not make the pivot then. We have Steny Hoyer, who is the majority leader in the House. He's the guy who determines when you call for a vote. He's the guy that determines if it's fish or chicken for lunch. Said if both the roads and bridges and the recon are ready, they will be called for a vote by the end of this coming week. So that is where we are with this. Representative Stephanie Murray, Democrat out of Florida, her comment is big. Why is it so big? What does she say? There's significant focus on the Senate members, but House members like myself have a different perspective. I think it would be really nice to engage with me, and you need to have my concerns heard as well. Why is that very important for us? Because if you've been with this channel over the last year, you see how legislation is done. It's negotiated by the top people in the party, the Democratic Party. Nancy, Chuck, the president, sporadically Bernie, and then Kristen, and the other Joe. They're not going and meeting with AOC or Omar. They're not going to meet with Liz Warren. That's not to say if the bill lands in Liz Warren's desk, she's not going to vote against it if it doesn't have a key provision in there. That's why MSC and your advocacy is important, because these legislators specifically say, hey, you did not consult with me about the situation, the negotiations. I have an amendment. I'm adding the amendment. Otherwise, you're not getting my vote. That is where our advocacy sits at. And that's why that's very important, that quote. So the president really thought he could slide this in and me not catching it. On Thursday, he addressed the American people on the CNN town hall, which was seen by 3 people. And the president said that the reason why the dental, vision, and hearing is in trouble is because Joe Manchin doesn't like it. The president didn't tell the American people that he doesn't like it after 3 years. Yeah, so blame Joe Manchin for that one. Yeah, I see what you're doing. Chris Coons says he believes the deal will be done. The vibe is close. We're getting very close. The gaps are closing. Jalapal says it's absolutely going to happen. We're going to deliver both these bills and the infrastructure of the bill back. And John Tester says we're getting the points pretty well. Why did the situation change so much in just 5 days? And you saw the lightning speed of which it changed. It changed because there was someone in the administration of the White House that had been hideously stubborn over the last few months, thinking that they could hold their ground and that everyone else would come and take their position. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Number one, the person was demanding 20-year programs, then demanding 10-year programs, then demanding $3.5 trillion recons. Everyone was telling them, no, I want 2, get 2. And the person said, no, I'm not doing 2. Finally, the person gave in. Number 2, there was a very bad battleground about this corporate tax rate and this billionaire's tax rate as well. They could have paid for this recon with other ways. Those other ways are now being used. And they were told about this resistance to corporate tax raises several months ago. They didn't give in. They became stubborn about the situation. But perhaps the most telling of the equations was this one. You're not going to see this really anywhere else except here and a few other places. Over the last few months, everyone was demonizing Joe Manchin, but now we know it was not his fault. What happened? The president had certain provision that would basically make homeless or lose the jobs of millions of people in the state of West Virginia overnight as soon as it became law in the middle of the pandemic right before the holidays. It was a clean energy provision. And as any elected official for those people, that state, you would never want to allow your residents to all lose their job at the same time. And Joe Manchin opposed it. And he was demonized for it. And all he asked was to take it out. And no one would take it out over the several months. As soon as it was taken out, upwards of a week and a half ago, the whole scope of this recon moved like lightning speed because it was a hold up. It was a non-starter. And once that was out, Joe Manchin could say, now let's negotiate and the remaining provisions were done. And it shows how getting everything done is correct, is important. All right, programs in, programs out. Get ready for the meat and potato. Here we go. The best part of the recording where we go over the rundown of the programs in, the programs out. Things are new tonight on Evenings LALATE, and you're ready? So, as the tuition-free community college, it was out, then it was in, then it was reduced. Where is it tonight? It's in, but still reduced. We're going to go over timeline, we're going to go over cuts, then we're going to go to breakdowns, and then we're going to go over my predictions as well. So timeline, Steny Hoyer says, I think we can accommodate it. Nancy Pelosi says, very possible we'll reach agreement this week. We still got one more day. And then we reached every milestone along our timetable to reach our goal. And Nancy saying, as to as to community college and paid leave, I change more diapers than anyone in this room. Ben Cardin says, get ready for big cuts. But Chuck Schumer says, we look to finalize the agreement by the end of this week so that we can move forward together next week. So is paid family leave still in there? Nancy Pelosi's, that's her baby. She says, news to me, that's not a decision. Do I think it's still in there? I think it is, but it's very expensive, and I don't know how you do it a lot. It was supposed to be $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. So I have no idea how you do it because it's a very expensive provision. Maybe just a few years, not a lot of years, because that is hideously expensive. The child tax credit, which is absolutely a behemoth of expenses, going to be done for 1 year. Price tag about $109 billion. Great news for everyone else because it eats up a lot of the recon. The recon, $2 trillion. This is only 1/20th of the recon. Good at $109 billion. Good. Proponents of it were trying to do it at 5 years, which would have eaten up a quarter of the recon. Everyone pushed back and said, this is not a recon for you and the CTC. This is a recon for all the other programs. They won. It's going to be 1 year. Next, Obama subsidies, still in there. Medicare expansion, still in there. One of the most dramatic provisions, which you're going to hear to the finish line, is the dental, vision, and hearing. This is Bernie Sanders' expansion of Medicare, his baby. He wants it a lifetime. President said no, and during that CNN town hall, blamed it on Joe Manchin. No, it's because the president says he doesn't want it a lifetime. President says maybe 3 years. Bernie scoffed on it. Then president considered vouchers. Horrible word. I guess it sounds like auto-tune. I guess it's just a very bad word. Vouchers. It's like auto-tune. I don't know why that word is so bad. And then the clean energy provision or clean electricity performance program, the anti-Joe Manchin provision, definitely out. Salt, bad for your diet and also bad for your recon. It's out. That is a lift on the state and local tax deductions is out. And community college, 2 years will likely be the max on that. I don't expect you to be in community college for 10 years. You know, you're a 20-year college graduate. Yeah, that is where that lands. You heard earlier in this recording, the housing, big win, huge win for housing advocates and Maxine Waters. It was supposed, under third stimulus, it was $47 billion. Under this, it was supposed to be $200 billion, which is enormous. It's 500% bigger, but it was removed in the middle of the week after Maxine Waters wrote the letter last week saying keep it in there. It was removed. She pushed back. Then it got in there at $100 billion. Then she got it more. It's likely to be somewhere around $150 billion. Great, because that'll be double what it was on the third stimulus. And if third stimulus covered us all the way from about February, now still in October, still paying out with an additional $13 billion. Imagine how long this will run. This will definitely run past the midterm elections, probably to about December 2022 or maybe early 2023. It's great. I'll be doing rent videos and your 6 places to reach out to for here to even come. Battlegrounds still remain climate. They're trying to keep as many provisions in there as possible. And that's why one legislator said, take whatever we can get and go with it. And there you go. It's important to understand that the legislators may be negotiating right now. They may be negotiating tonight. They may be negotiating tomorrow morning. But when the sourcing of the information is off the record individuals, and we don't have more than really about 2 newsrooms and myself, it's not like you're going to have a press debriefing of the situation. So I don't want you to presume they have gone on a vacation at Club Med for 2 days. It's just that the situation is very, very fluid. Let's turn to the big exciting new details of the student loan debt. This is where the Democrats should take what's offered to them because it's great. President's floated $10,000 of more student loan debt he'll forgive for everyone. And the Democrats are holding out. I would just take it and put a provision in there. You can do more. This would be big. It would be $10,000 student loan debt for everyone, and it would be tax-free. The president, in the last few days, forgave other student loan debt. First, individuals who became disabled after graduation. Second, he forgave student loan debts for individuals who worked for 10 years or more in the nonprofit sector. And then the big one, he forgave student loan debts just days ago for people who went to work at least 10 years for the public sector. That's the city, county, and state. That is big because a lot of people don't make enough money. You're a garbage worker or you're a school teacher in the public schools, don't make enough money to pay off the student loan debts. Now your debts are forgiven. The fifth stimulus is really heating up, and this is big. You may have gotten that letter from Social Security saying your benefits are going up because of COLA, but you haven't heard about fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is right behind the corner. Fifth stimulus is the next stimulus package right after fourth stimulus. That's why it's called fifth. You may see some print media referring it to as the third recon from Biden, or the third recon. Don't get confused because they're referring to the third recon from Biden. This raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits. So let's go over the notion of what's happening with this. House Budget Chairman John Yarmouth, Democrat from Kentucky, just days ago met with Nancy Pelosi, said, I want to do this as a fifth stimulus package. She said yes. What is he trying to do? He's trying to add in all this type of reform, including childcare, senior care, and deciding what not or what to put in the package, what not to put in the package, put it for recon, and have the Republicans vote against it, and then take that to the polls for the midterm elections. I don't see where the downside is of this in election year because we're trying to do things that are really popular. Brilliant idea. So what are they looking to do? First, raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, veterans benefits, or disabilities or multiple benefits. Then apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. And where's inflation going? It's going up. And how high is it going? Well, it's going to be 1% to 3% potentially by the end of next year. Inflation would replace COLA, which could be zero next year. So how will this work? First, you're going to get a big lift up under COLA. Then they're going to raise you up one time under fifth stimulus. Then raise you up when they apply the new benchmark in December 2022. They're going to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. Asset cap dating back to a 1980 law, income cap dating back to a 1960s law, and the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest like Rob and Sandy. And there you go. That is why that fifth stimulus news is incredible. As we look forward to tomorrow, you and I turn a year and a half old. It was a year and a half ago when I pressed record on a deserted beach in Southern California during the middle of the pandemic. Unsure what I was doing, unsure if anyone was watching, unsure if I was going to be helpful to anyone. But apparently I was. I covered EIDL, PPP, PUA, and UI in those very first videos that first day. Wasn't particularly sure what I was doing. Wasn't quite sure if the video would upload. Wasn't quite sure how this whole thing works. And needless to say, throughout the last few days, I've looked back on what you and I have learned and took that and showed us as what we should take going forward. One of the things I learned the very first few days when I started recording was people saying, you're not supposed to do it that way. Excuse me? As soon as the first EIDL video went up, there was jazz music in there. Excuse me, you're not supposed to put music in the video. Who said that? You're not supposed to have any music in the video. Who said that? Excuse me, you're not supposed to have a theme introduction. Who said that? It just seemed like there was a book out there that said not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that, don't do this, don't do that. Needless to say, I didn't pay attention. People seem to have an opinion about a lot of the things, but it wasn't like they were saying, I recommend you to do it. They were telling you, you don't do it this way. It's not done this way. Don't have people tell you what to do in life. Don't have people tell you where to go or how to do it. If you want to do it, then go do it. You're watching this video because you want to learn about the programs. They'll pay you upwards of $15,000 as soon as the recon becomes law. And if you want to know how to get that money from each of those programs, then you want to know about how to get those monies for those programs. If there's someone sitting on the sofa next to you who doesn't want to know about the programs, but wants to know when the sprinkles or the glazed arrive, then let that person do it. But don't let that person tell you not to know about the programs. Why have someone tell you what to do? Over those first few weeks, first few days, I had all the craziest of things. You're not supposed to be doing this way. You're supposed to be doing it this way and that way and shorter and longer and faster and bigger and larger. Excuse me? Where did this all come from? Is there sort of a Bible out there that says the Bible of do's and don'ts? No. It was what the cookie cutter said to do. I've never been much of a cookie cutter person. I like cookies and I like cutting, but I'm not a cookie cutter person. And never let yourself be a cookie cutter person. Never let someone put you in a box and say, this is the way you do it because this is the way everyone does it. Whether it's how to have your wedding in your local town. This is the way we do weddings in our town. We don't do weddings the way you propose to do it. Or the way you do the holiday casserole. I've never seen anyone do a casserole of pasta. That's just, we don't do that around here. Don't have people tell you how to cook. Don't have people tell you how to hold a wedding. Don't have people tell you how you brush your hair or how you color the hair. It's ultimately your determination in life because it's your life to live, and it's your choice to make the decision. Whether it's correct, wrong, whether you're looking for a birthday balloon or the local market just has a leaf balloon. Yeah, what is this thing? When you go to the local market and they ask for a birthday balloon, and all they have is a leaf, a nice vinyl leaf, you say, I'll make do with it. I'll make do with it. I mean, who else on YouTube celebrates their 1.5 year anniversary with a leaf balloon? No one else does. And I'm sure tomorrow's going to say, we don't do leaf balloons on YouTube. Who does leaf balloons on your birthday? You do a birthday balloon with confetti and, oh, I still have colographic. Who does colographics when we're doing leaf balloon? I don't know, but who cares? The point of the matter is that leaf balloons belong when I say they belong. Your wedding belongs the way you want it to belong when you say you want it to belong. Don't have people tell you what to do. Don't have people guide your life or tell you how to do things in life. Ultimately, rely upon your inner sanctity. Rely upon your inner your intuition. Rely upon what you've learned about things in the past and what makes sense going forward. There's always going to be someone that says, you don't wear that color at this time of the year for a wedding. Well, I really like that. Well, we don't do that around here. Well, maybe you should go somewhere else. Ultimately, what's important to remember is that if you do what you feel comfortable with, you enjoy doing it, you feel that you did it the right way, then people will resonate to you because they feel that you have an element of confidence in what you did across the board. As we look into a very big recon that'll pay viewers of this channel a lot of money with a lot of programs that'll take information to learn about the programs, it's important to understand that you're going to be a different breed. That CBS poll is not a joke. 90% of Americans don't even know this recon exists. So imagine 9 out of 10 people on the street corner in front of you don't even know what this recon is about. Don't even know the recon exists. The remaining 10%, or the 10 people on the street corner that know the recon exists, cannot even tell you what's in the recon. And that is before the recon is finalized. It has a lot of programs, as the press secretary says, they're brand new. Programs that no one has ever seen across the board. So imagine there's money for you for a program you've never heard about. You don't know the name, how it works, where it is, how you get the money, and where you get the money. And yet, it's a lot of money. Look at that interesting equation as we look forward. It tells us a lot about ourselves. There's a lot of money in a program with a name we don't know yet that is totally brand new, that is going to be around for many years, and it's a totally new way in which they're running this country, and that money will be available for you, and you need to get that money, and you need to learn what that money is. You know what that's sort of like? It's sort of like an electric car. It's like, that car has no gas? What do you mean that car has no gas? How does it work? It's an electric car. Oh, it's on electricity. Well, I'm not going to learn about that. I'll just be fine how I am. And you can go do that thing. At some point, everyone's going to learn what an electric car is if you don't know what an electric car is. Or perhaps everyone has learned what an electric car is. It's much the same situation. Information guides a society, and you are ahead of the ball game. When this money becomes law, you're going to learn how to get this money. You're going to learn where the money is, what it's called, where the program is, how it pays out, because it is brand new. It is something totally new, and it's not something you've seen before. One of the worst comments I always used to hate in 2020 was someone said, but the prior stimulus package was like this. Well, there's a reason why it's a new stimulus package, because it's new. It's not just a renewal of the way we did it the last time. It's a new thing. And so with a fourth stimulus package, it's going to be different than the third. The fifth stimulus package is going to be different than the fourth. Every pot of money will be in a different pot with a different name and a different location. And that money will be big money for you across the board. And that is why this channel and you and I succeed. Because you and I know that things are being done differently across this country every day, every week, every year. And you need to stay ahead, not behind. You need to know what the change is, not say, but that's the way it was done in 2020. That's the way it was done in 2019. That's the way it's done in Canada in 2012. No, this is the way it's done in 2021, 2022, 2023. You're going to know it. You're going to know where the money is before anyone else. And that's why we have grown as a channel. The very first recording I made was on the 25th of April, and it concerned a program never seen in this country. The program is no longer with us at the moment. It's PUA. And trust me, I even had problems remembering calling it. There was a humor video where I messed up the name so many times. PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. Brand new program created in 2020 for the pandemic, for unemployed independent contractors. It was created under second stimulus. Did not exist. Did not last. Very much the case in this country. There's a lot of programs that come and go. They go for a year, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, and then go away. Sometimes these programs pay a lot of money, and you need to get into the program as quickly as you can. And just like when I pressed that first record on this channel, PUA was not live. No one had heard about it. It did not go live in several states for several months. We are doing much the same thing today as we get ready for all these new programs that are going to become law under forced stimulus. We're going to be ready to get all this big money as well. And with that, thank you for joining me. Join me next on Evening's Countdown, which is at 6 o'clock. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, YouTube record, and 140 million. This video will automatically take you to Evening's Countdown coming up right after this video. Then at 7 o'clock, we have a brand new, we have Stream Stimulus. We have shows 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11:30 tonight, all about forced stimulus. Then I return tomorrow morning at 3 a.m., 3:30, and then 4 a.m. with the new Early Mornings LALATE. So don't miss a video across the board. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and get that newsletter that comes out this coming Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.